Hiring the wrong social worker during a family crisis can lead to dropped care plans, communication breakdowns, and wasted financial resources. In this video, you'll learn the exact step-by-step process for evaluating clinical social work credentials, spotting critical red flags during intake interviews, and choosing the right practitioner for your family's needs. Before we get started, if you're a social worker or care coordinator looking to streamline your practice with automated intake forms and secure documentation, click the link in the description below to grab your free 21-day trial of Case Management Hub with no credit card required. Here's what we're covering today. We'll start by verifying licenses and credentials so you never have to hire an unvetted practitioner. Next, we'll cover the core questions to ask during initial screening calls to test clinical competency. Then, we'll break down the crucial difference between immediate crisis intervention and long-term care management. Finally, we'll review intake documentation standards and key red flags to avoid before finalizing any contract. Let's get right into step one. Welcome to this practical guide on how to evaluate a private social worker before bringing them on to support your family. When dealing with complex transitions like pediatric mental health support, substance abuse concerns, or elder care, finding the right practitioner makes all the difference. Today, we're walking through the structured assessment framework to help you make an informed decision. We will look at credential verification, clinical interview questions, intake procedures, and modern documentation standards. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear blueprint to vet any practitioner with confidence. Your first step must always be verifying active state licensure and professional credentials before sharing sensitive family details. Always look for a licensed clinical social worker or LCSW, which guarantees a Master of Social Work degree and over 3,000 hours of supervised clinical experience. You can verify their license status instantly by searching your state's online occupational licensing board database. Additionally, check for professional affiliations, such as a membership to the National Association of Social Workers, and ensure that they adhere to the NASW Code of Ethics screening guidelines. Never skip asking for a certificate of professional liability insurance to ensure your family is fully protected against practice errors. During your initial consultation, ask open-ended social worker interview questions for families that reveal how they handle real-world challenges. Do not settle for theoretical answers. Ask them to explain their specific family social work intake assessment framework. Ask how they can establish boundaries when family members disagree on care goals, and require them to detail their after-hours emergency escalation protocols. An experienced practitioner will explain how they utilize psychosocial assessment best practices and evidence-based tools to evaluate physical, emotional, and social needs. Pay close attention to whether they listen actively or rush you through standard boilerplate answers. It is essential to understand the distinction between immediate crisis intervention and ongoing care coordination so you hire the right skill set. Crisis intervention focuses on rapid stabilization, safety planning, and short-term resolution during an acute emergency. In contrast, long-term care coordination builds sustainable systems for ongoing medical, legal, and housing management across months or years. For example, when an elderly relative suffers a stroke, a hospital social worker provides immediate discharge planning and emergency equipment setup. However, managing ongoing Medicaid applications and multidisciplinary medical teams over the next year requires a dedicated care coordinator. Matching the practitioner's specialization to your family's exact stage prevents critical gaps in care. Spotting red flags during your preliminary screening calls saves your family time, money, and emotional strain. Watch out for practitioners who refuse to provide written service agreements, fail to outline clear fee schedules, or promise guaranteed treatment outcomes. Another major red flag is poor communication security, such as asking you to email sensitive medical or financial documents over standard unencrypted text or email. Professional social workers establish clear boundaries, explain confidentiality limits upfront, and use HIPAA compliant family assessment tools to safeguard your sensitive data. If a practitioner skips formal informed consent protocols, treat that as an immediate warning sign. A professional social worker conducts initial intake interviews using a structured, standardized process rather than an informal note taking. The initial intake should systematically cover safety screening, family system mapping, concrete goal setting, and care plan finalization. During this phase, practitioners gather baseline data across all major life domains to build a personalized care roadmap. High quality practitioners rely on customizable social work assessment templates to ensure no critical detail or regulatory requirement is missed. When an intake is structured properly, every member of a care team knows exactly what their responsibilities and timelines are from day one. Protecting your family's private medical and personal records is non negotiable when receiving professional care. Before sharing sensitive history, ask the practitioner how they handle social work consent and documentation compliance. They should explicitly explain HIPAA regulations, mandatory reporting laws, and their specific secure client intake forms protocols. Professional social workers use encrypted file storage and secure messaging platforms to communicate with families and exchange care records safely. If they cannot clearly explain how your personal information is stored and transmitted, you should look for another candidate. Clear communication schedules prevent misunderstandings and reduce anxiety during complex care transitions. Before signing a contract, establish how often you will receive progress updates, whether weekly, bi weekly, or monthly. Ask what primary tools they use for routine updates and confirm whether they offer secure messaging tools for family social workers to keep everyone aligned. Make sure to clarify their standard business hours and explicit response times for non emergency inquiries. Establishing these operational boundaries up front ensures your family receives timely updates without breaching professional availability limits. A successful care relationship relies on objective, measurable benchmarks rather than vague promises of improvement. Your social worker should establish SMART goals, meaning specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound during the initial intake phase. They should outline a regular review schedule, typically every 30 to 60 days, to evaluate care plan progress and make adjustments. The best practitioners utilize social work care plan tracking software so families can view updated goals and milestones transparently. Clear metrics ensure that everyone involved remains accountable to the agreed care outcomes. Let's quickly recap the main steps we covered today for evaluating a private social worker. First, always verify active state LCSW licenses and check for disciplinary actions on your state board portal. Second, use open ended interview questions to test their intake framework and crisis protocols. Third, align your hiring choice with whether you need immediate crisis intervention or long term care management. Fourth, look out for red flags like unencrypted messaging or vague fee structures. Finally, ensure they use structured intake forms and measurable SMART goals to track your family's progress over time. If you're a social worker, clinical case manager, or care coordinator, executing these assessment best practices requires the right administrative tools. Case Management Hub provides an all in one client management platform that social work professionals use to streamline operations. You get access to digital client intake forms, HIPAA compliant assessment templates, secure client messaging, progress tracking, and automated scheduling. It helps you save hours on documentation while delivering high quality care to the families you serve. Click the link in the description to start your free 21-day trial today with no credit card required. Taking the time to systematically evaluate social workers ensures your family receives safe, ethical, and highly coordinated care. By asking targeted questions, verifying credentials, and demanding secure documentation standards, you set your care plan out for long-term success. Thank you so much for watching today. If you found this guide helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel for more clinical workflow guides, and leave any questions you have in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video. Once you click the link, you'll be brought to this page. Just enter your first name, last name, and email, as well as your organization name, and select your practice area. We also recommend that you enter a phone number. Once you're done, you'll be brought to the main dashboard where you can perform quick actions among many other things. And what we're going to demo today is how easy it is to set up client goals and review progress through the reports dashboard. So step one, we want to navigate to the clients table and then open up a client profile. Step two, we're going to scroll down to the goal section and we're going to click the title just to expand that section. And you're going to see that I don't have any goals here at the moment. So we're going to click the plus button at the bottom right corner. Step three, we're going to give our goal a name, and then we're going to add each of the steps that are required to achieve the goal. You're going to start with the first step and add each subsequent step underneath it. When we're done, we're going to click Save at the bottom. And that'll add that goal to the profile. One thing that we can do here is if I just hover over the title, I'll get three buttons here. The first one is to edit. And the one thing that I want to do is I want to place a check mark here, which will add this goal onto every client's profile. I'm going to click Save. From the goal section, step 4, you can manually mark steps as done. What you'll notice is the date completed column fills in with today's date, but you can always come in and modify that yourself, clicking into the date and choosing another date. I can also sort the goals by A to Z, Z to A, by date added, oldest to newest, or newest to oldest. I can also filter the goals by completed, pending, or in progress. Step 5, we're going to review goal progress by heading to the Reports and Analytics module. From here, we're going to select from the drop-down Goal Progress. We're also going to choose which goal we want to generate a report for using this drop-down. It was a client goal. And there's our goal. And you'll see that we have two reports generated here for the goal. The first one indicates how many have achieved that step. And the second one is an achievement percentage, indicating who or how many have achieved all of the steps versus how many have not. And don't forget to like this video as it lets me know that you've received value from it. You can also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss great content like this one.